It's Tuesday, September 2nd. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Classes are canceled as the Dalhousie University strike continues. The Premier lashes out at Nova Scotia Power's rate increases.
Sun and warmer temperatures, but not a lot of rain expected through the end of the week.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. For the first time in weeks, we can report some good news for people who've been forced out of their homes by Nova Scotia's Long Lake fire. Starting tomorrow at 9 o'clock, some of the evacuees will be allowed to return home. The deputy warden says officials have done a thorough assessment and it's safe for about 360 properties. Crews were able to make pretty good ground over the weekend against the fire, though it does remain out of control.
We want to get people home as soon as we can, as safely as we can. So at this point, we're quite safe quite confident that they can go home right now. But again, reminding them that it is an active fire zone and to still be prepared.
About 145 civic addresses remain under the evacuation order. Highway 10 will reopen to the public at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Nova Scotians may soon be paying more to keep the lights on. Today, the province's power utility revealed just how much more. That prompted a fiery response from the Premier, who accused Nova Scotia Power of being out of touch. CTV's Hafsa Arif has details.
Premier Tim Houston didn't hold back, referring to Nova Scotia Power's latest plan to raise rates as the wrong move at the wrong time. In a statement, he says after overseeing one of the largest data breaches in our province's history, asking Nova Scotians to pay more should not be the utility's first move. Instead, he insists the utility should withdraw or significantly reduce its application. Nova Scotia Power struck a tentative deal with customer representatives, including the province's consumer and small business advocates. That would see bills climb by more than 8% over the next 2 years. The Premier's frustration is echoed by small business owners like Mohammed Al Sharmani, who runs a local restaurant.
We're not looking for something else increasing. We're looking for something else decrease.
With costs climbing for food and supplies, he says electricity is the last thing that should become more expensive.
We barely actually survive. They put the price up. Can I put also the price up for the food? I can't, because it's going to be heavy on my customer.
Senior advocates say cost of power is already among the highest worry for older Nova Scotians.
Most seniors are living on fixed incomes. That's a lot of money. That's $60 or $70 or more a year that they don't have to spend on things that they can't afford already.
Nova Scotia Power says what it released today isn't the actual rate application, but a deal with customer groups on proposed rates for 2026 and 2027. They plan to file the full application later this month. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Many Maritimers headed off to school today as the new year started. Not at Dalhousie. Most classes at the Halifax University were canceled as professors, librarians and others remain on the picket line. As CTV's Vanessa Wright reports, students are becoming rather anxious about the strike.
It's not a typical day on the Dalhousie campus. School is open, but most classrooms are empty.
My first class was canceled. I showed up there and there wasn't many people, and the students started trickling out like one by one, which is pretty odd, so I eventually left. I went back to my dorm.
I meant to have class today, but they all got canceled. It's kind of like strange. Just like feel like I'm not really getting the whole experience.
It's the result of time running out in the dispute between the university and faculty members. Last week, the university's Board of Governors offered interest arbitration to the union to end the lockout, but the union rejected it. Now students are left watching and waiting to see what happens next.
Students are becoming increasingly more aware that we're now getting into time where we're spending tuition and we're not having classes.
The situation even more frustrating for students coming to Dalhousie from away.
I mean, you're coming to a new city with, new people and stuff, and kind of the one thing that you'd be able to start is classes, and that's how you'd meet people, and that's how you'd, kind of get involved into your community as well. And so that just because they're canceled, it's it makes it a little bit more difficult.
The Faculty Association told CTV News there are no new developments in the dispute. A statement from the university says it recognizes the stress the uncertainty is causing and says supports are available. As the labor dispute approaches the 3-week mark, students wonder how long they will have to wait.
Hopefully this will wrap up soon, yeah, just so I can get in the gist of things.
Some classes are running as normal by faculty not a part of the union, but many students are still feeling anxious about if they'll be forced to return to work. Todd?
That's Vanessa Wright at Dalhousie's Halifax campus. And that leads us to tonight's CTV web poll. We're asking this: should university students be affected, who are affected by a strike, be entitled to compensation for time lost? And your options are yes or no, or it depends on the length of the strike. You can have your say at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Starting tomorrow, if you are entering a Horizon Health Centre in New Brunswick, you will need a face mask. The health authority is bringing back a mask mandate to reduce the spread of respiratory illness, which it says is on the rise. CTV's Avery McRae is in St. John with more on what this means. Avery?
Well, Todd, it's that time of year again. Summer break is over, the kids are back in the classrooms, and most people are back in the offices. With that, the chances of colds and flus spreading grows, which is why Horizon Health Network is bringing back the masks for the time being. Now, Horizon says they are already seeing a rise in respiratory virus activity across communities in the province. That, combined with the pending start of flu season, is why the health network is taking this proactive approach. Starting tomorrow, medical masks must be worn by all staff, patients, and visitors at all times in all patient-facing clinic zones, which includes waiting areas. Masks will not be needed outside clinical settings, such as in hallways, lobbies, or cafeterias. Additional signage will be present to help people follow where masks are and are not required while inside the facilities. Horizon already has some measures in place to help reduce virus transmission, like asking those coming to the hospital to self-screen for any sickness before entering a hospital or clinic. CTV reached out to the health network for more clarity on the mandate, including how long masks will be mandatory for, but did not receive a response by airtime. In a statement to CTV, New Brunswick Pharmacists Association President Anne-Marie Pacone says it's typical to see more respiratory viruses as summer turns to fall, and encourages people to follow the vaccination advice from public health. As far as masking requirements goes for floors dealing with an outbreak of some sort, Todd, masks must be worn at all times by staff and by patients when they are not in their beds in these areas. Visitors are not permitted to visit units that are dealing with an outbreak. Todd?
All right, Avery at the Regional Hospital in St. John. Police are investigating after reports of shots fired in Westfall outside Dartmouth yesterday. A section of Cherrybrook Road was closed while officers were on scene. No one was hurt, and police say there was no risk to public safety. Neighbors were told to expect a heavy police presence. The investigation in this case is ongoing. Moncton leaders met this afternoon to address demands to improve safety downtown. On Friday, we heard about a New York City family who left the city early into a 10-day stay because they didn't feel safe. CTV's Derek Haggett heard more concerns today.
Police watch over an empty lot in downtown Moncton today, an area known for open drug use. A block away, a security guard watches closely as kids wrap up the first day of school. This is the reality of the area, ground zero for the city's homeless, drug, and crime issues. Some think walking the streets here is safe, others not so sure.
Would I love to see improvements? Definitely. I would love to feel like you could walk down any road at any time. Ideally, that's what it would be. But unfortunately, right now, that's not a reality.
On Friday, CTV News spoke to a property owner who has seen a lot of crime over the past few years and wants change.
So we've had individuals cut their stay short because they didn't feel safe in the neighborhood. One of the individuals lives in New York City. He was here with his teenage daughters and his wife. They had intended to stay for 10 days. They left after 2.
A few weeks ago, a car parked right next door to a coffee shop set ablaze around 7:30 in the morning. A scheduled meeting was held today to discuss downtown safety.
This is a large problem, and now I think we're in a position we can manage it, but we need to solve it somehow.
Chief Landry says a lot of times when someone sees a person who appears to be homeless, they automatically think they're up to no good.
There are some homeless that are criminals, but not all criminals are homeless.
The province acknowledges it's a difficult problem to solve, but everyone wants answers. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Online, a woman allegedly threatened to inject a Halifax store employee with drugs during a robbery. We have details at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. There's a live look right now at Lunenburg, where it's 21 degrees. Let's get our first look at the weather. Bring in CTV meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell. Nice evening there, getting a little darker a little earlier.
That's right. I mean, into the month of September now. A very fair weather early September evening for most of the Maritimes. Temperatures, as we just saw at Lunenburg, more moderate around areas of the coast. So Lunenburg sitting at 21 degrees. As soon as you get away from some of those coastal breezes, though, the temperatures are coming up. It's very warm. Interior areas of Nova Scotia right now, parts of Prince Edward Island, still large areas of New Brunswick, sitting with temperatures still around the mid and in some cases high 20s. Doketown just an hour ago was sitting at 30 degrees. The weather station there cooling a couple degrees just over the past hour. Checking in on the winds, they're out of the south. They're rather light. They're being sustained in most cases between around 5 and 15 kilometers per hour. Got a little bit of a breeze there at Lunenburg with wind speed closer to 20, and same thing goes for Port Hawkesbury. No gusts to show you, and the winds are expected to remain generally light and mostly out of the south for the rest of the night. With the clear skies, the light winds, and low temperatures, we'll see this later on, coming down to the range around the high single digits and low teens, it is likely that we're going to see some fog patches develop tonight around the region, with the fog thickest and most widespread around coastal areas. Only one weather alert in place, and it's an air quality warning for Annapolis County in the southwest of Nova Scotia because of the Long Lake wildfire, where there is smoke from that wildfire, dense and present close towards the surface. Of course, air quality is going to be reduced. Not much to show you on radar and satellite in the moment, and the overall sky conditions for tonight are it's just expected to feature a few high clouds, which does make it a pretty ideal night for some moon and stargazing. It's a waning crescent moon, 73% illuminated. That'll be above the southern horizon this evening. You can look towards the east and low towards the horizon to spot the planet Saturn. It's a G1 or minor geomagnetic storm forecast for tonight. That's lower than what was observed last night and during the day today, which means spotting the aurora won't be as likely. I did get some aurora pictures, though, from the past long weekend, Todd, and I'm hoping to share a few of those throughout the week.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. All right, we'll see you for the full forecast in about 14 minutes or so. Thanks. The Canadian Coast Guard is moving over to national defense. The service will become a branch of D&D, joining the Army, Navy, and Air Force. In a release, National Defense says the move is an important step forward in strengthening Canada's maritime security. It likely means the Coast Guard's budget will be added to bolster Canada's promise to increase military spending to 2% of GDP.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Well, for many students in New Brunswick, this was the first day of the new school year. Kids at Forest Glen School in Moncton started rolling in right around 8 o'clock to get a start on the new academic year. The elementary school has around 400 kids, including a grade 2 student who is starting his second year at a Canadian school.
I'm a little nervous, but I think it's going to be a great time to see all of my friends and nice to see the teacher.
Because I'm excited to meet my new friends, and my new teacher, and my new class.
It is my favorite day of the year. This is where the parents are. This is where our community are. This is where our staff greets our students. This is where our bus drivers pick our students up and drop them off at the end of the first day. I just love the energy.
And there's lots of that. The Anglophone East School District continues to grow. There are around 20,000 students attending 39 schools in Greater Moncton and the surrounding area. They broke new ground on a cooperative housing community in Upper Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia on the weekend, which will supply affordable housing. 136 new homes will be built. The project is being handled by the volunteer Upper Hammonds Plains Community Land Trust. This work is designed to provide affordable housing and strengthen African Nova Scotian culture and heritage. It received more than $61 million in federal funding, as well as support from local partners.
All of the development that's been happening in our community, that's been absent us, right? That hasn't included us. So this is the time for us to, actually purchase back land in our community and to build our own housing. And it's the first development of its kind in Canada.
This is a historic African Nova Scotian community, 210 years old now, and to have that here, led by the community, I think is instrumental in what's going to be so successful about this project.
The first 40 homes are already in the construction phase. 40 of them. The timeline for the completion of the whole project is in 2 years. That's the spring of 2027. All right, time for a break still to come. Mainly clear night ahead of us with some fog developing by morning. Kaylin has the full forecast, but next, up in smoke.
So we know what the visibility is like, and there is no visibility.
Burglars bolted after a bungled break-in for bling. See what happened after this break. A recent robbery attempt in Cape Breton went up in smoke, and that's exactly what the shop owners hoped would happen. Now their video of a smash and gag is blowing up online and showing others how to protect their property. CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us.
It all started when a pair of thieves smashed through the front door of a Sydney River jewelry store in broad daylight.
They did seem like they had a plan coming in.
Any plans changed pretty quickly, though, once the pair got inside. That's when a smoke machine the store had purchased a few years back went off at the same time as their alarms, leaving the suspects scrambling for the exit.
It was pretty comical because we've experienced it. We've tested our smoke machine, so we know what the visibility is like, and there is no visibility.
5 years ago, we had a armed robbery.
Store owner Glenn Tuddy says after that incident, they decided to install this machine called a smoke cloak.
You can't see your hand in front of your face, so you can't steal what you can't see.
Last week, a story aired on CTV News about a jewelry store in Ontario whose owners installed a similar security measure after a violent break-and-enter there last year.
You just want to do anything you can to try and delay them and slow them down. It's not like we're trying to, incapacitate them or something.
While the smoke may have foiled the suspects pretty quickly, today there was still the matter of whether or not they've been caught. We reached out to Cape Breton Regional Police for an update, but didn't hear back by news time. The store's owner says 4 items were taken and a glass case was damaged, but it will all be covered by insurance. For now, they have gotten plenty of feedback about their security measures and their video that has been viewed quite a bit.
I think it's in excess of 150,000 people since Friday supper time.
Exposure that he hopes might even result in some extra business in the wake of a brazen break-in. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney River, Nova Scotia.
Still to come for us, warm, late summer weather. It's continuing for the Maritimes tomorrow. Kaylin has the details in the regional forecast after this. Sunny skies over the coastline at lower East Chesapeake, Scotia. Look at that, picture perfect.
Very nice, and similar weather conditions coming up for much of the Maritimes for tomorrow as well. Still need to trade some of these blue sky days, though, for a little bit more rain, Todd.
Yes, that would certainly help up in that area, Annapolis County, where they can really use it. Firefighters got a bit of help from cooler conditions, apparently, but boy, they need that rain.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get back to our forecast here in the Maritimes in a moment. I want to bring you an update, though, on what's happening in the tropical Atlantic.
Yes, is this going to get a name?
It might. It's being given a 70% chance of developing over the next 7 days. So pretty good chance. It's an area of thunderstorms right now, located just off the coastline of Africa. Now, that area of thunderstorms is moving into a pretty favorable spot in the Atlantic for further strengthening because of some very warm waters and some favorable wind conditions around right now. So if it does develop into our next named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, it would be Tropical Storm Gabrielle. So paying attention to that over the next couple of days. weather conditions here at home. After temperatures were soaring in the west last week, they are beginning to moderate for some areas. There's still some very hot temperatures in the interior of BC. Victoria right now sitting at 22 degrees and 20 at Vancouver. We also have 20 at Calgary, and you notice temperatures have come down a little bit in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Saskatoon right now 19 degrees and Winnipeg sitting at 14. Moving off towards the east, warmer temperatures through southern Ontario and up into southern areas of Quebec. We've got 24 at Toronto right now and 25 at Montreal and Quebec City. Fredericton, though, hotter than both of those cities, sitting at 28. Halifax, and that reading is from a weather station closer towards the coastline in the Halifax area, 21 degrees. 23 degrees at Charlottetown right now, 19 degrees at St. John's. On our forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation, so the region is sitting underneath an area of high pressure for tonight. There'll be a few clouds around, but they're mostly going to be thin, high cloud cover. No precipitation is expected out of that. Fog patches, though, will likely develop as we move between midnight and the start of the day for tomorrow, with fog even a little bit more widespread and thicker around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia, where it may be accompanied by some patchy drizzle. Now, any fog or drizzle that is around at the start of the day for tomorrow will be dissipating as we make our way into the afternoon, and Wednesday afternoon will look very similar to this afternoon, so mostly sunny or just a fair weather mix of sun and cloud. There is a low chance of some isolated showers and thunderstorms in northern and northwestern areas of New Brunswick afternoon into evening. Some of those showers and thunderstorms may be moving in out of Quebec and out of Maine. Winds in the forecast for tomorrow will be out of the south. They'll be sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour, a few gusts between 20 and 40. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for most of the Maritimes. High single digits and into the low teens, mid-teens around parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. Highs in the north of New Brunswick for tomorrow, mostly between 24 and 28 degrees. Remember, for that part of the Maritimes, you do have that chance of an afternoon, evening shower or thunderstorm. Down through central and southern areas, New Brunswick, though, looking mostly sunny. A lot of high temperatures, mid to high 20s, except on the Bay of Fundy coastline. There, closer to the low 20s. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow, lots of highs between 24 and 26 degrees, 21 on parts of the coast. Maybe a few fog patches around for the morning, but then after that, mostly sunny and that light south wind. Cape Breton with highs between 21 and 24 degrees on Wednesday, mid-20s around the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia. On the eastern shore, coastal areas 21 to 23 degrees, but getting away from the coast, most of the highs coming up between 23 and 25. 25 for Amherst, 26 for Truro, 23 for the city centers Halifax and Dartmouth, 21 degrees for Chester and Lunenburg. Very warm day for the Annapolis Valley on Wednesday, mostly sunny, highs near 26. And for communities on the south shore of Nova Scotia, the high temperatures between 20 and 24. In the 7-day outlook for New Brunswick, coming up on Thursday, more sunshine, more very warm temperatures for early September. There will then be a chance of showers on both Friday and Saturday, and then temperatures look milder by the end of the weekend and through the start of next week. Highs around the high teens and low 20s. For Nova Scotia in the forecast on Thursday, again looking mostly sunny. A lot of high temperatures, mid to high 20s, except low 20s on the coast. A chance of showers on Friday, but it's a low chance right now. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud. A higher chance of showers at the end of the weekend on Sunday, and then temperatures come down for the start of next week. Highs around the low 20s. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, sunshine on Thursday with highs near 26. A chance of showers on Friday, again highs near 26. Up to 28 on Saturday, the mix of sun and cloud. Chance of showers on Sunday, temperatures cool, highs near 20. And then the start of next week, high temperatures in the high teens and low 20s.
There is no indication whatsoever of sweater weather.
Not yet.
Not yet. Keep the shorts out.
That's
Okay,
right.
We'll see you at the end of the show. Thank you, Kaylin. Next, we'll speak with Nick Nanos about return to Parliament, what Canadians are thinking about as we head into the fall. And we have this story on the scene.
Hello?
Hey, you.
Is this Jax?
Katie Kelly.
I've always wanted to be on the other end of your phone.
Oh, stop it. I'm in town. I'm wondering if we can, hang out maybe.
Oh, well, I'd love to have you on CTV News at 6 tonight.
I'm ready. Let's go!
Yay! Jax is going to be on our show tonight, and we're going to talk all about East Coast calls and so much more.
Can't wait.
Okay, bye. Love ya.
Love ya.
So we have wrapped up the Virgin Radio Vault, but starting Monday, $5K a day. Your chance at $5,000. Get your keyword with us at 7.
And tomorrow, get your shot at $100 to Studio.
Welcome back. School is resuming. Pumpkin spice lattes are back. The federal cabinet is meeting. It must be September, Nick Nanos.
Absolutely.
Nick Nanos, of course, principal of Nanos Research and pollster for CTV News. He's in Ottawa, where, Nick, I'm assuming people are starting to pay a little bit of attention to politics again after the barbecue circuit's over?
Oh, man, you know, with Donald Trump, people have not stopped talking about politics, because it's like every day Canada's listening to some new thing that Donald Trump is doing that impacts the trade relationship. So it's been full-on politics for the whole summer, and it's going to ramp up even more now that we're hitting the fall.
Do you get that sense from Canadians over the summer that people were dialed in perhaps a little more than they normally would be?
I think a lot of them were dialed in because, you know, our relationship with the United States, our trade relationship, is critical to the Canadian economy. It's critical to Canadian jobs. People tune into stuff like that. And it's sadly entertaining. Why don't we just say kind of like a car crash? Sadly entertaining. So, you know, in addition to Canadians enjoying the summer, they're also kind of monitoring what was going on in the relationship with the United States.
Well, and they didn't hear a lot from the federal government because it's been quiet. We know that there was a phone call, of course, between the Prime Minister and Mr. Trump, and that Dominic LeBlanc was down there. But really, they haven't really put forth a whole lot since we talked about that early October deadline for a deal, which, of course, came and went. And they said, you know, don't worry too much about that. Things are still in the works, but it's been awfully quiet.
Yeah, is that your way of saying, Todd, that they haven't accomplished anything? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, listen, I'll let you decide whether that's the case,
okay.
Nick. I would never dare to be so bold.
Yeah, your diplomatic appointment's probably in the mail. Right. Okay, Todd, the reality is that the government has made stable trade relations with the United States a top priority. It was a keystone element of Mark Carney and the Liberals when they're running against Pierre Poilievre, but they haven't been able to make the headway that they've wanted to because, you know, Mark Carney has a trade negotiating partner. His name is Donald Trump, and he has not been as cooperative as Mark Carney would like. And, you know, I think this is going to be one of the kickers this fall because I think for a lot of Canadians, they're going to be wondering, what are we going to have to do and how long is it going to take for Mark Carney to have some sort of arrangement or a track where there's a higher level of certainty when it comes to the trade relationship between Canada and the United States.
We saw him on that high-profile trip to Europe. Is there some thinking that, you know, he came back with something in his hand out of that? There was talk about, you know, the submarine contracts, but perhaps more on energy.
Yeah, well, he did have a meeting with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. And I think one of the key things had to do with energy and LNG and potential Canadian exports. And, you know, the thing is that the Trudeau Liberals had basically killed any hope or ambition to have exports of LNG out of Eastern Canada. And it looks like at least the Carney government is willing to open that up. And Germany has a willing partner that if Canada can provide the LNG, that'll be the case. But, you know, the thing is what's clear is that Mark Carney, and maybe this is part of his corporate business banking background, is looking to line up customers, right, as part of the plan to build an energy infrastructure in Canada. And, you know, for that to happen, we already have a Western pipeline. It is a pipeline and capacity out east that looks like it's at the top of the priority list.
So the Liberal cabinet is holding a retreat this week. I guess this is what? This is sort of lining up their priorities for the coming session.
Yeah, I think lining up priorities. The other thing is the budget, Todd. You know, they just closed out the pre-budget consultations a little like last week, which means now the government kind of can move forward on planning for the budget. The budget's, it's going to be, I don't want to call it a blockbuster, but it's going to be a critical budget. It's going to be a big spending budget. It's going to hypothetically include some sort of investments based on what the Prime Minister has told Canadians. And we're also going to find out what we think the bill is going to be for all these projects and all this spending. And, you know, the ironic twist is that we may see a deficit that is bigger than the big deficits that Justin Trudeau racked up near the close of his tenure.
Do you think the Prime Minister then will try to offset that? We've heard a lot coming out of Ottawa, in particular the public sector unions. They're obviously nervous about what might come down the pipe for them.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the government has an articulated goal, at least of a 15% savings in government. But, you know, the thing is that won't be enough to cover all the new spending. I would expect that the spending is going to be framed as investments in infrastructure. And, you know, we know from our polling that spending on infrastructure, roads, ports, that kind of stuff is much more popular than spending on a lot of other things. So expect the government, even though there'll be a big deficit number, to frame it in the context of investing in Canada, investing in the Canadian economy, and trying to make it more resilient vis-a-vis the Americans.
Nick, before I let you go, I'm always curious, you know, to gauge how people are feeling. What's top of mind? You mentioned trade, but we still hear a lot about cost of living and housing, but cost of living in particular.
Yeah, the two top unprompted national issues of concern. More than 4 out of every 10 Canadians say Trump, trade, jobs, and the economy as the top two. And then after that comes housing and the cost of living and things like the environment. But, you know, the thing is that when we look at trade and Trump and the economy, those things are now all intertwined in one big issue that people are really focused on right now, because we're in a bit of a holding pattern when it comes to consumer confidence. And it'll be interesting to see where we end up at the end of 2025.
No doubt, and we'll have you on certainly long before that to talk about it. Nick Nanos in Ottawa, thank you as always.
Take it easy.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with much more of your show. Beta blockers may not be a benefit to a large majority of heart attack patients. CTV's Suzette Beliveau has more in the Tuesday edition of The Lifeline.
New research suggests beta blockers may not benefit the vast majority of patients and may even raise the risk of death for some women. Beta blockers have been used for decades as a first-line treatment after a heart attack. One analysis focused only on women. It found those with little heart damage after their heart attack were significantly more likely to have another heart attack if they were treated with beta blockers. They were also more likely to die than women who were not treated with the drug. Another study found no benefit in using beta blockers for any patient, male or female, whose hearts were still performing well after their heart attack. But a separate study did find benefits for those whose hearts may have been mildly damaged. The province of Alberta is launching the Alberta Wallet, a way to carry province-issued documents on a smartphone. The app is now live. The first document residents can add to their wallet is a mobile health card. The province says the wallet's privacy will be secured through strong encryptions. The app will replace paper copies of the province's health card, but those who prefer the old cards will still be able to use them. Canada's Food Inspection Agency is expanding a recall for pistachios and pistachio-containing products linked to a salmonella outbreak in multiple provinces. Allo Simon brand pistachio products and select pastries sold from a store in Quebec are the latest products being recalled. They include the brand's sour cherries and pistachios covered in chocolate and rose petals and dark chocolate Easter eggs. Consumers are advised to check if they have recalled products and contact a healthcare provider if they believe they are sick. These are the latest products included in an ongoing salmonella outbreak investigation. As of August 19th, there have been 10 hospitalizations and 62 illnesses from salmonella across Canada, according to Canada's Public Health Agency. With health and medical news, I'm Suzette Beliveau for The Lifeline.
All right, we're on the scene with Katie Kelly, and there's one Maritimer gaining a ton of attention online for doing things we saw earlier in the promo the old-fashioned way.
Yes, Todd. Just picking up the phone for a friendly chat.
Hello?
Hey, how are ya?
Not bad.
What's going on there?
What's going on where?
With you.
Nothing much.
She's capturing hearts online, one call at a time.
I worked in radio, I like prank calls, but the part I don't like is when somebody feels silly or dumb or like it's at the expense of them.
Jax Irwin lovingly dials up random East Coasters just to see how long they'll chat with a stranger.
Hey, you, how are ya?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to soak up this sun.
Are you?
Oh.
I think especially after the pandemic, It's been dark. It's been disconnected. It's been isolating. So I think that any sort of connection that feels good and feels genuine is fantastic.
Jax has spent the last decade in Toronto, working in radio and digital media. It was a single call she made to a woman in Sydney last year that changed everything.
And we just kept talking, and at no point did she ask, who is this? And she felt like an old friend, and we just had a great chat, and then hung up. I put a clip of that online, and people just seemed to love it.
She found her calling, literally. And even though the calls aren't always easy to land, East Coasters rarely disappoint.
I've called people for an hour one time and not got through to anybody. But even when they don't want to talk, they're so, always so sweet, like, wrong number, not a problem, honey, everyone makes mistakes.
I was just asking the hubby, what's for dinner?
And what did he tell you?
He said codfish. Is that true?
Oh, no. That's what he usually says.
For the Dartmouth native, it's more than content. It's a special connection to home.
I don't think I realized the extent of the heart in the place that I grew up. And there is sass, and there is this resilience, and just this deep, genuine care of folks here that I have not ever seen anywhere else. They'll tell you what they think, whether that's good or bad, and the world needs more of that.
You have a good week and you stay warm, okay?
I will try, you as well.
And while the videos make millions online smile, she says the calls have given just as much back to her.
Folks say, it's like, oh, it's so nice that you call them, they're probably, I'm like, I'm lonely, not them, I'm grateful to them, they have changed my life.
And when she's not making random calls, Jax also co-hosts a podcast with longtime friend Adam Wilde.
It is relationships, dating, mating, and relating. I think it's an interesting pairing of a guy who loves, hockey and life, and a lesbian with a shaved head.
No matter what she does, Jax continues to spread connection, laughter, and plenty of East Coast charm.
The Atlantic provinces, we are lucky. We are so very lucky to have this spot in the world, and we're known, for being kind for a reason. We should be really proud of where we're from.
You have a great holiday and enjoy your summer.
Okay, thank you.
At the end of every video, she always says, love ya, just to see if they'll say love you back. You wouldn't believe how many people say love ya right back. I love it.
It's pretty clever.
Yeah, so, of course, Todd, I couldn't have Jax in the building without getting her on the phone.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you who you're calling, but I am going to give you the phone number of a few East Coast celebrities and see if you can get anyone on the phone, see if they even answer, and see how long you might be able to keep them on the phone for. Are you down?
Let's go. I am calling number one.
Hi there, Adam here. Please leave a message. Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Hello? Hey! What's going on? Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. I'm just driving in for Ness.
Are you there all weekend?
No, just got a few errands to take care of.
You got any car snacks?
Just gum. I'm chewing my gum,
What, spearmint or a little?
This Mentos.
You say Mentos. Is it those soft ones, those tender ones?
Yeah, but it's gum.
Where on the way to Inverness are you?
In about Strathmore.
Okay, I can picture that, yeah. Yeah, well, I won't keep you too long. I know you got some gum chewing and some driving to do, but I hope you have a good weekend.
Well, thanks.
All right, my dear. All right.
Are you going to tell me who you are?
It's Jax calling. Who are you?
I'm Heather.
Stop it! Katie, you called Heather Rankin?
Only Heather Rankin would be the one that would work on.
Come on, really?
That was real. That was real. And other phone numbers that I gave were like Jonathan Torrens, Adam Baldwin, we got his answering
I heard
machine,
that. Yeah.
Jen Grant, so many locals. And it's funny how many didn't pick up, though.
Right.
And then finally, little Heather Rankin.
Wow, that was good. Okay, we're going to make, this is a bit of a hard turn here, but it's important that we do this because Graham Greene passed away, great Canadian film actor. He was just 73.
Yes. He was interviewed on this program a number of times, and he was a big fan of the Maritimes.
I love the East Coast.
Just love Halifax. I love Nova Scotia. We're going up to the Cape tomorrow and see who's up there and visit a few people. And,
Greene's management team said he died yesterday in Stratford, Ontario after a long illness. He starred in a steady stream of film, television, and theater projects from the late 1970s onward. He made many trips to our region over the years, including co-hosting Christmas Daddies in Cape Breton in 2008 and 2009. He earned an Oscar nomination for the supporting role of Kicking Bird in the 1990 film Dances with Wolves. You can see more of Graham Greene's connections to the Maritimes in the video vault section of our website at ctvnewsatlantic.ca.
He was just a very, very nice man. Yeah,
seems that way.
Yeah, he sure was. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Here's what's on CTV tonight.
With Crash and Sarah Betts.
Tomorrow, Beat the Bank continues. Cue to call us at 7 a.m.
And then after that, we have Harvest Music Festival tickets to give away as well. Don't miss it.
On the markets, the first day of trading of September opened on a sour note for the Dow Jones. It fell 249 points. 10 years ago, Kraft and Heinz merged in a multi-billion-dollar deal. Now they're going their separate ways. B&M Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more on that.
One of the biggest food companies in the world is downsizing. Kraft Heinz is splitting in two only a decade after merging. The company says the complexity of its structure as one massive enterprise makes it hard to prioritize. Heinz products like ketchup and Kraft mac and cheese will be under one new company. Kraft Singles and Oscar Mayer under another. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down 14 cents to 72.58. West Texas Intermediate is up more than $1.50 to 65.55. Western Canadian Select is down to 51.05. And the TSX is up 51 points to 28,615. That's another record close. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
All right, let's bring in Kaylin on the weather deck. And Kaylin, I know you're going to get to this in a second, but tonight we love all our photos, but this one's really interesting because it captures some active weather, which is just great.
Yeah, it does. So let's take a look at that picture for tonight. And it was captured off the coastline of Cape Breton, Shettycap area to be specific, and sent in by Michelle McGilvery. I want to thank Michelle very much for taking the time to share this picture with us. We got a pair of water spouts there. Now, there's two types of water spouts. There are tornadic water spouts. Those are ones that are more severe and often associated with severe thunderstorms. And then they have what they call, quote unquote, fair weather water spouts. And these ones are a little bit more benign, and they form when we've got these cumulus clouds hanging out over top of the ocean waters and generally light winds. And that's what was going on here. So thank you again for that great picture. Shettycap for tomorrow, mostly sunny. High temperature near 23 degrees. Day planner for tomorrow across the Maritime region, partly cloudy with fog patches in the morning. Early morning temperatures high single digits into the low teens. And then for Wednesday afternoon, it should be very similar to today. A good deal of sunshine, lots of high temperatures away from the coast, mid to high 20s, closer to the low to mid 20s on the coastline, Todd.
All right, thanks for that. You have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. And finally for us tonight, it was 40 years ago this week that we got our first look at Titanic on the ocean floor. September 1st, 1985, an expedition team found the wreckage of Titanic way off the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador. The famous vessel sank, of course, in 1912 and claimed more than 1,500 lives. Former CTV Halifax camera operator Gordon Danielson was the first member of the public to see this. He flew this footage you're looking at from the ship to St. John's, Newfoundland, and fed it to CTV and CBS. Of course, that evening on the local, or the evening news, rather, they showed it to the world. And we all got a sense of where Titanic lies. That is our look at the day here at home. Bruce Frisco is here at 11:30 with your late update. ctvnewsatlantic.ca has updates anytime. I'm Todd Battis. Hope to see you right back here tomorrow at 6. Till then, have a good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.